Hi, welcome to Robot Culture. I'm your host, Kevin Isley. Today we're going to talk about the Lance Armstrong Effect. I'm not here to tell you that Lance Armstrong is a good guy, a moral guy, or even a well-adjusted guy, because clearly he's not. Lance Armstrong orchestrated the most sophisticated doping program cycling has ever seen.
Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
Yes or no? Was one of those banned substances EPO?
Yes.
Did you ever blood dope or use blood transfusions to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
But who cares? In 1995, Lance Armstrong was diagnosed with germ cell testicular carcinoma. It had metastasized to his abdomen, his lungs, and his brain. He was given a 40% chance of survival. Lance underwent surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. Not only did Lance Armstrong beat cancer, he became a cyclist again, and he won the Tour de France. This is an epic accomplishment. This is beyond what anybody has ever seen in sport. In 1997, 2 years after his diagnosis and after he beat cancer, Lance Armstrong founded Livestrong. This is an organization dedicated to helping cancer survivors. In that time, between 1997 and today, they have raised over $500 million for cancer. Some of it goes to research, which you would expect. But what Lance focuses on most is the cancer patient and helping them navigate the system. Because of Lance Armstrong, registrations in USA Cycling between the year 2000 and 2009 doubled. It doubled in races, it doubled in people becoming racers, it doubled in clubs, all registering with the USA Cycling organization. Anything that they do that is cycling doubled in those years. If it wasn't for Lance Armstrong and his 7 victories in the Tour de France, the Amgen Tour of California would not exist. The Tour of Georgia would not exist. Lance Armstrong brought cycling to America, and that generated so much interest in the sport that we have amazing races today. More people are bike riding today. The ubiquitous Century Ride has more than doubled since the year 2000. Companies like Nike, Oakley, Anheuser-Busch, and Trek all owe a debt to Lance Armstrong. He made them hundreds of millions of dollars, and he made Trek bicycles the first billion-dollar bicycle manufacturing company. If you rode bikes before Lance Armstrong in the United States, you got very little respect on the road. But during the Lance era, it was amazing. People would honk at you while you rode your bike, and they'd yell, "Go Lance! Go for yellow, win another one, beat the French, beat everybody." People actually liked cyclists during the Lance Armstrong era. And today, the roads are safer because of Lance Armstrong, because more people are riding bikes. So Livestrong raised $500 million. We have the Tour of California, we have the Tour of Georgia. More people are riding their bikes and racing, but who cares? His legacy is cancer. The Livestrong organization has assisted 2.5 million cancer survivors. They have helped them navigate the system that is cancer. It is a difficult system in our healthcare system, and that is what Livestrong truly does that is unique. The legacy of Lance Armstrong is before 2000. If you were diagnosed as a cancer victim, you were a victim. Now you're a survivor. He changed the environment of cancer. He changed the perception of cancer. He made cancer something that is beatable. What a lot of people see right now when they think of Lance Armstrong is they see a cheater and a doper. But a cancer patient who was diagnosed with cancer during the era of Lance Armstrong sees somebody different. They see somebody who gave them hope, who gave them permission to dream of success, of a cure for them, that they could live beyond this diagnosis. They were no longer a cancer victim, but because of Lance Armstrong, they were a cancer survivor. And they found solace in the book, It's Not About the Bike. This gave them hope deep inside, something that no amount of money could ever give anybody. And they read that book while they were getting chemo pumped into their veins, a poison that kills rapidly growing cells like your hair. And they read that book while they were in pain and losing their hair and putting ice on their heads to salvage some sort of hair. And as they were scarring their body through massive amounts of radiation, they read the book. They realized they are survivors. They are not victims. This is Lance's greatest legacy. And if you had cancer during that era, when you left your chemotherapy and you went out into the community, you saw yellow bracelets that said livestrong. This was people supporting cancer, whether they knew somebody with cancer or not. It became cool to support cancer, and that gave people even more hope. They saw in their fellow citizens a belief that they will survive this horrible, horrible disease. Because Lance Armstrong won 7 Tour victories and doubled the amount of people riding bikes in this country, he has saved countless people from diabetes, from obesity, from these other ailments that happen when you do not exercise, when you do not move your body. He told people, gave them permission to get out there and try. It doesn't matter if you're overweight or what. He has saved lives with this. I know this sounds dramatic, but really think about how much Lance Armstrong affected people. Although it's almost impossible to understand how many lives Lance Armstrong affected in a positive way, in even possibly a life-saving way, it is very easy to calculate the lives he tried to destroy. If you were a reporter during the Lance Armstrong era and you found out that he was doping, if you had inside sources that guaranteed he was doping and you printed it, he sued you. He didn't care about your job. He tried to get you fired. He would go after people ruthlessly, like nobody has ever done in sports before.
In your opinion, was it humanly possible to win the Tour de France without doping 7 times in a row?
Not in my opinion.
From the years 1999 to 2005, there is no yellow jersey winner for the Tour de France. The reason is when they stripped Lance Armstrong of all 7 of his Tour victories, they found that 20 of the 21 podium finishers in that time frame all either tested positive for PEDs or they were under high suspicion. Had Lance Armstrong never doped, he would have never won the Tour de France. He would have never won 7 tours. Had he not done that, his name, his voice, his organization Livestrong would not have achieved what it did. He would not have inspired so many people to change their lives, to see their diagnosis as something positive. So did the ends justify the means? I don't know. Only you can really decide that. And until the next time, I hope to see you out there on the road.